All right, I know there'll be people that are joining late, but I want to be respectful of all of your time. So first and foremost, thank you for joining. If you don't know me, my name's Denise Thickenetter. I head up sales and service here at Spinzo, and I'm joined by a couple other of our team members that I'll let introduce themselves quickly.
Hear anything?
What? Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Yep, I'm Emmanuel Almagian. I'm the CEO of Spinzo. A lot of you know me, but for the other friendly faces, hello. Nice to meet you.
And I'm Kyra Pritchard. I am the newest addition to the Spinzo team. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing.
Awesome. Well, we are going to address today some of our basic building features. So this is kind of a refresher of how to in Spinzo. And at the end, we're going to spend some time on reporting. So please definitely stay for the session. It'll be very helpful if you are either in mid-season, already it's starting to sell, or you guys are, getting ready to launch sales. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Emmanuel's going to share his screen, and we're going to walk through a little bit of the structure of Spinzo just as a refresher, and then dive into the building. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. We will be monitoring the chat and trying to respond to questions if we can there. If not, we will answer them live here, or we can connect with you offline afterwards.
All right, I'll share my screen here. All right, so first off, I'm going to talk about the Spinzo hierarchy. And a lot of you who have been dabbling around in Spinzo are quite familiar with this. We talk about the hierarchy a lot, but it's important to refresh ourselves about it. So the top level of the hierarchy, we have what we call sellers. So for most of you, you'll only have one seller, and that's your sports team name or tournament or venue. But in some cases, you're part of a conglomerate, like in the case of Kroenke, where there's Denver Nuggets, Colorado Avalanche, Colorado Mammoth. In other words, when you have access to Spinzo, you may have access to more than one seller in the platform. So we call that a seller. Within a seller, we have what we call groups. A group is what you think it is. A normal group could be a group of Bank of America employees. It could be a high school that you've invited to the game. If you're doing a theme night, it could be something like Star Wars fans if you're doing Star Wars night. So everything in Spinzo is predicated on a group. So then within a group, you have what we call sales events. A sales event is basically one of your events. So it could be Nuggets take on Wizards, be one event. It could be a clinic, like a cheer clinic that includes like some pregame event and a game. It could be a combo pack too. So sometimes you'll have 2 games in one. Spinzo might sell a 2-game plan. We still call that a sales event within Spinzo. Then finally, within sales events, you have what we call offers. An offer is basically a seating zone tied to a price. So for a particular game, you may offer 3 different offers, maybe lower level ends, upper level center, and then club seats, for example. So it's up to you how many offers to put in a sales event, how many sales events to have within a group, and of course, the groups belong to your seller. I'll mention a couple more things here. One is affiliates. So a lot of you are starting to become familiar with our affiliate technology. That enables you to create multiple inbound links to the same group, but you're not building separate promotions. So you can make them look different, you can track them differently, but we call those affiliates. You still build one group. So the group could be corporate partner offers or corporate group, and then each affiliate could be a different company. Finally, I'll mention that there's 2 kinds of links that we typically talk about. One is called the group link, which will surface all of the sales events and promotions within that group. But if you're only giving group access to one sales event, then it's best to just give them a link directly to that sales event. So we call that the sales event link right there. Denise, anything I missed on that?
Nope, that's all good. I think the key too is as we dive into the building, remember, I like to look at this as a ladder. We're literally going to step down the ladder in our building process when we go into the platform. So let's dive into the platform and let's build some offers. So we're going to use our friends, the Carolina Hurricanes, for our building. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to essentially walk down that ladder. So Emmanuel's going to search if you've used a group in the past year or the past few years, or someone else inside your organization has, you can always search that group, update the sales rep, update information. You don't have to recreate the group every single year. So Emmanuel does not see the group that we're going to go ahead and build, which is FedEx. So he's going to go ahead and click to create the new group. He's going to type in the group information. You're going to notice as we go through this process, the grayed out buttons for the URL string are going to populate. We highly, highly recommend you don't touch those because that is what's generating the long link for your offer. So leave those alone. If they're grayed out, it usually means you don't want to fill it out. Also keep in mind, as you see those little red asterisks by different boxes, those are going to be the required ones that you need to fill out. We're not going to be able to hit every single feature, every single checkbox here in Spinzo as we go through, but a lot of them are self-explanatory. The first one is being able to show buyers where they're sitting and who else has bought. So optional. If you have that lit up as well, you can also choose for your buyers to opt out. So totally up to you. You know your groups. Also with the share enabled buttons, that's also something that you will know if that makes sense for your group or not. Next thing Emmanuel's going to do, if he has it, is to upload a group logo. So once he clicks to upload, he's going to find the logo on his desktop. Keep in mind, we allow for JPEG and PNG files. Ideally, a transparent file, especially with our immersive background, is going to be best. But if you do have something that has white in the background, as Emmanuel crops and saves, he's going to have the option to make a nice white box around the logo if he wants to, or if it has a little bit of white, what this does is it kind of rounds out the edges and makes it a little bit prettier. So optional if you'd like to do that. You're going to go ahead and choose yourself as a sales rep. This is important depending on how you guys track for commissions, but likely this is how you get paid and feed yourself. So you're going to want to make sure to go ahead and choose yourself as the rep. If you have classification set up, that will be there as well. And then you're going to see support contact information. That is going to be the next most important thing. So while we are a second line of defense or even a first line of defense for you with support, your buyers want to hear from you. They want to be able to talk to you. You know everything about the group. So here's where you're going to put a complete sentence, because this is not only going to show when they click on the page for help, but it's also going to populate in the confirmation email. So they will have your information. This allows you to choose how you want to be communicated to. Do you want to do email? Do you want to do phone number? It's up to you how you want to do that. Below that, if we go back to thinking about our hierarchy, you're going to see what's called headline information and also more information. We are in the group right now. So this is at the group level. So if you choose to add something here, it is going to hit every single page for that group. It's going to hit the group listing page and every single page beyond that. You can untoggle headline information to not hit individual sales pages, and you'll see that there. We're going to leave it blank for right now, but this is where you would put something that you wanted to go on every single page for that group. So Manuel's going to hit save, and we've completed creating the group. Now we're going to go ahead and create a sales event. So you're going to notice that green buttons are really going to take us from step to step. If Emmanuel clicks right there, he's going to be able to create a single sales event. He's going to choose the venue that he wants. So you'll see your venues if you have multiple there. And then he's going to choose the event from the Ticketmaster database. So this means that we've already done the process to see your events for the year. So Emmanuel's going to choose the game that FedEx is going to be going to. When he does that, you're going to see the event date and time are going to populate, as well as the sales event name. You can adjust any of this if you need to. So if it is not correct, or maybe your group has an event that's starting before the game, maybe you want to be more verbose and explain that this is a fireworks night or a bobblehead night or it's opening night. You can do any and all of that. You can also change the end time as well. So if you need this to close prior to the actual start time of the game, that's always our default. You can do that. You can invoke a countdown clock here. So if you want to kind of drive urgency for your buyers, you've got all those features. Beyond that, right now, in creating the sales event, there's really not much else we need to do here. The only other thing you may want to do at this stage is if you do have information that you'd like to add to the confirmation email, this is a great place to put it. So we have purchase details and additional redemption instructions. Purchase details are going to go higher up on the confirmation email, more towards where the account manager information is, and additional information is going to go below. We're in the process of merging these fields so that they're kind of all one, and that you have a little bit more functionality in this space, but this is where those apply right now. So Manuel can go ahead and hit save, and he can move on to the next step. So we've got our group, we've got our sales event. Now we're going to get into creating offers. So first things first, what I like to do when I'm creating offers is I like to take that event code that's at the top of the page. You'll see that highlighted event code, and I like to right click and open that. This is what we call our cheat sheet. So for us here at Spinzo, we obviously work with all of you. So it's hard for us to remember what your price codes are, what your ticket types are, what all of that information. So this allows us to understand. But for you, this is going to give you a baseline of exactly what we see in your Arctics. So if you're wondering why something isn't working, why something isn't saving, this is going to tell you exactly why. Because if we don't see it, we can't sell into it. So let's build an offer. Emmanuel clicked to build an offer. He's going to choose the ticket class. So he's going to go ahead in this instance choose lower level south, which is parent price code M. He is going to type in the price code that he wants us to sell into. In this case, the Carolina Hurricanes use standard Spinzo price codes. So I believe it's MGSZ that he is going to put in. Okay. He can also cross-reference that right here in M. He can come down here and he can see MGSZ. Okay. He's also going to see the price for that as well. So $132.44. So if he comes back to his offer, he can also add hold classes. So he can comma separate hold classes and add as many as he'd like. We always have a default set for you. So we can set something if you'd like multiple hold classes to show as a default. Let us know. We can help you with that. But that way he can choose which hold classes he wants to sell from. And then as he scrolls down, he's going to be able to enter that price, that offer price. So that the red asterisk is there. And remember, this offer price is always going to be what you want the buyer to pay. With or without fees, so how you're structuring your fees. So Emmanuel's going to put in his $132.44 here. The little red box below is going to show him exactly what's going to happen. So in this instance, the buyer is going to pay the $132.44 plus the Spinzo fees, which get broken out to Ticketmaster into our payment processor, and then some comes to us. And then he's going to see that they're going to receive $132.44, and that's what's going to be pushed into Arctics. As long as that looks correct, you could go ahead and click save. What's happening now is we're doing a test, hold, and release with your Arctics system. So we're basically double checking that we see inventory in that price code and in those hold classes, and that we could physically sell into that. If we do not, it will error out. It also will error out if there are only 2 seats available, because we never leave a single seat. So if you run into a situation where you only have 2 seats that are available for us to see, that may error out, and you may say, well, I do have seats, I know they're available, but our system will never allow a single to be left. So just a little caveat.
Hopefully you're not creating offers with only 2 seats available.
Yes, that way. Yes, exactly. Exactly. If we want to offer multiple seating zones, we're going to go ahead and create another offer. So Emmanuel's now going to choose, I think, price code V at this point is what we'd like to offer. So Club Select North, he's going to type in the price code, which we know based on standard price codes is going to be VGSZ. He can add any more hold classes as he wants. He's going to come see exactly what the price is. So it's $174.28. And he is going to, right? Yeah,
174.23.
Oh, 20. Yeah, okay. Awesome. He's going to put that in there, and then he can go ahead and hit save. Sorry, I can't see. My site just bad. All right, so he has now created the group, the sales event, and 2 offers for this one.
It might be worth mentioning how you might create an offer on a reserve, right, Denise? Like
Absolutely,
not
yeah.
not all are from hold classes.
Yes, great point.
So
if
let's say,
we're
for
going there-
example, yeah,
go
I
ahead.
could talk to that. Let's say, for example, you wanted to offer Club Select South, and in this case, you didn't want to pull from the price code or hold classes. You could pull instead from an account reserve. When you choose account reserve, we ask you for a couple fields here. One is the account ID where the seats are reserved. So you'd go into Arctics and you'd put seats on reserve on a particular account. So then you'd put that account number in here. But then when you put seats on reserve, Arctics gives you an order number for that reserve. And it's important to put that order number in here. Now, this is important because if you were going to do account reserve for multiple different offers in the same event, you're going to want to reserve those separately. So for example, if you're doing club seats south, and then lower level north. You would reserve the club seats first. You would get that order number from Arctics, you'd put it in here. And then you'd go in Arctics and reserve the lower level north seats, and you'd have a different order number. The account ID could be the same, but the order number would be different. So that's how you would do account reserve. But we'll back out of that now. We'll just stick to the hold classes for this one.
Perfect. All right, Kyra, you want to help us and make this a fundraiser?
Yeah, so a lot of our clients like to make their offers a fundraiser. So this is a FedEx promotion. So let's say that FedEx is partnering with Make-A-Wish Foundation, and a portion of every ticket is going to go back to Make-A-Wish. So let's walk through how we're going to do that. So Amanda will go back into the offer. And then under our pricing, you'll see a option for donation amount included in price. So now we could do an absolute donation. So like $5 of every ticket will go back. Or you could do a percentage. So if we wanted to do like 10% of the ticket price would go back. But for this example, we're going to do $5. And like Denise mentioned earlier, the offer price is what the buyer is paying. So you want to make sure that you're not selling yourself short. If you see right there in the pricing chart, if he puts $5 there and keeps the offer price the same, then you'll receive less than what that ticket price actually is. So you always want to double check and make sure that your offer price is included in that donation price. So he's going to actually go ahead and change that offer price there.
Yep. I did that. It was 174. As you were talking, I changed it to 179. So we're good on that.
Okay, perfect. So then now that you know that that all lines up, he can click save. But before that, I just want to mention, or go ahead.
I already saved.
Perfect. So we have that donation there, and you can see there that it says the main price plus what we're going to withhold. And he can do the same thing with the next offer there. So as he's doing that, you'll notice that by default, we have it checked where Spinzo is going to withhold and handle all of your donation money for you. That's what most of our clients like. It makes it a little bit easier on your end. But if you wanted to handle the money yourself, you can always uncheck that box as well. But for this example, we'll leave it checked. And then below that, you also have the option to allow an additional custom donation at checkout. So when your buyer is buying the tickets, there'll be an option at the checkout screen to add in whatever value they want. So if they wanted to do an extra $100 donation, they could do that as well. So we'll save that. And then now if Amanda goes out to the promotion page, you'll see.
I'm just going to hit publish here. I'd like to remind people to always remember to publish the offer. You could always view it without publishing it, but no one could purchase it. So I usually do that pretty soon in the process. So we'll publish that. And then, yeah, we'll go take a look, as Kyra says.
Perfect. So then now that we made it a fundraiser, you'll see that little money raised icon right there. And so that's going to update in real time as people buy in tickets. You'll be able to see exactly how much money is raised. But now for your buyer, they might not be able to know exactly where the money's going because there's not enough info. So maybe we'll want to say that the money is going to go to Make-A-Wish Foundation. So we want to edit our headline info. So you have a couple options there. Here, Emmanuel's going to write in a portion of every ticket sold is going to go to Make-A-Wish. Now you can fully customize this body of text. You can make it larger, smaller, bold, italicized, put pictures in here. And then this way, when your buyer goes to the actual promotional page, they'll have a little bit more clarity on where the money is actually going. You could write in all emojis if you wanted to. Perfect. And so now if we were to go back and refresh, now there's a headline there that shows exactly that this is a fundraiser and where the money is going to be going. Now, when you're making a fundraiser, the last step is to create a withholding payee. So basically So in the group level, you would want to go to the group FedEx, and then there's this little checkbook looking icon that says withholding payees. You're going to want to click on that, and you're going to want to create a new withholding payee. So this is where you enter in the entity name, like Make-A-Wish, and then whoever you want us to make the check out to. Sometimes that's a specific person, sometimes that's the organization. And then you put in the address and all the important details there. If you were to do a bank transfer, we would just need the account number and the routing number. And then Spinzo would handle all of the donations for you, and you don't have to do a thing, and you would know exactly when that money was sent out. And if you click save, then you can see the Make-A-Wish Foundation payee right there.
You don't have to do this at the beginning, of course. It's nice too, so you don't forget. But if you don't have the information yet of where to send the money to make a wish, you don't have to do that right at the beginning. But we wanted to show you where that gets put in because everything is automated thereafter. So you could do it at the end of the promotion if you'd like to.
Yeah, you can go in at any time and add in your withholding pay information. Awesome. Okay, so let's say that we want to spruce this up just a little bit more, and we want to say that we want to offer an experience if they reach a certain amount of tickets sold. So that's what we call our milestone benefits. So if you see Emmanuel hovering over that, you can click add there. And then you get a drop down of your milestone benefits. So this is something that you can preload off on the left-hand panel. There's an option to load all your fan experiences. So you would have done that before. And then from there, you can select which experience you want to include as a milestone benefit. So for this example, we're doing the penalty box experience. And then you can do the type of benefit. So you can do a number required, or if you have number available, let's say that you only have a certain amount of spots available, you can cap it, and you can also do revenue. Well, we'll just keep it as number required. And then let's say 100 for this example. So we'll save that. And then if we go back to the promotion again and refresh, now you'll see if we scroll down, there is a new milestone benefit experience that shows exactly how many more tickets are required to unlock. You can include the picture of the experience and like a short body of text of what that experience is. And that is just one of our milestone benefit features. But now I will pass it back to Emmanuel to talk about a little bit more of advanced pricing features that you can do as well.
Yeah. Great, thanks, Kara. So yeah, this promotion's looking pretty good. It's a FedEx offer for Make-A-Wish Foundation charity. $5 for every ticket is going there. We have a headline. We're showing how much is raised. We have our 2 seating zones here. And we didn't click through, but everything works. So if someone wanted to buy, they can go ahead and choose their seats there. So now, and the last thing I'll mention is with regard to all these things that we added to the promotion that Kyra had us walk through, in our next training, which will be September 10th, we'll talk about that at the end of this. We're going to talk about how to reposition these. So in that training, we're going to talk about immersive design and how you could actually, if you wanted to pull this penalty box experience box up to the top, how you could restyle it, change the colors. We're going to go through that then. But for today, we're just talking about basic building and how to get everything on your promotion page. But in the next training, we're going to talk about more like positioning of that. All right, so now I'm going to talk through some dynamic pricing. So what we just built here is a fixed pricing offer, but a lot of our clients are doing dynamic pricing, partly because sometimes their pricing is constantly changing, but also sometimes it's just easier to do dynamic pricing in the system. So for that, let's make a brand new group. So I'm going to go back to groups, and remember our hierarchy. We start at group, then build sales events, then offers. So I'm going to go through that process again very quickly. We're going to make a new group, and this time let's call it Delta. So we're going to make Delta Airlines offer here. So I'm going to upload a logo for that. We have our cropping tool. So if you have a logo, it's nice to crop around it if there's white space there. And then typically we'd recommend choosing the sales rep, of course, as Denise said, and also support contact info. But I'll leave that blank for now, just for the purpose of building this one. So I made Delta. And so now we're going to make our first sales event. We'll just do it similar to last time. We'll choose PNC Arena. We'll choose the first game in this list. Save that. And now we're going to create our first offer. So this time we're going to do things with dynamic pricing. So we'll choose the same area actually. So lower level south. So that's price code M. So the price code here was MGSZ, if we recall. We had our little cheat sheet that Denise mentioned. You can right click on that, open it in a new tab if you wanted to see what the price codes were. That's the price code we'll pull from dist open. But now for pricing, we're going to do something a little different. Instead of fixed pricing where we type in the price, we're going to say dynamic pricing. So with dynamic pricing, you don't type a price in Spinzo. Instead, you tell Spinzo what price code or ticket type to look for in Arctics, and then it will look at that and then set the price accordingly. So if we go back down to price code M, we'll see here, we had to type last time price code MG or type in 132.44, but this time we don't have to. We're just going to say we would like the price to be whatever the price of MGSZ is. Now, you might be wondering why you have to type the price code here and then type it again down here. And that's because in some advanced situations, our clients want to sell into a certain price code like MGSZ, but they want us to track a different price code, maybe a normal group price or a secondary group price. So that's why we let you put different price codes in here. But I'm going to put MGSZ in here, and that's it. I'll save this. So now when saving, it does the test, hold, and release, and you'll see here it put 132.44. I didn't have to type that. It automatically fetched that price from Arctics. So it's pretty easy to do that. Now, I'm going to go back in to show you what you would do if there was a donation in there, because that's, as Kyra walked through, you could easily add donations for fixed price offers. Well, how do you do it for dynamic priced offers? So for dynamic priced offers, there's an option here to apply modifiers to the price. So while we're looking at the MGSZ price, we could apply a modifier, either a percentage or an absolute dollar amount. So let's do a dollar amount. We're going to say plus $5. So we're going to look at the price of MGSZ. That's the price that it's going to take. And then we're going to add $5 of it. And then like before, we're going to add $5 here. So now in our little price box, it says it's 132, but you're receiving 27. But actually, this will be higher once we save here. Because now that we've saved it, we've added $5. So now the price has risen to 137.44 and $5. So it's really the same as last time, except in this case, we didn't have to type in a price. So that way, if the price changes in Arctics, this will automatically change in Spinzo. Okay. We could do another one if we'd like. Similar to last time, we had done Club Select North V. So VGSZ here. And we're going to do dynamic pricing, and we're going to tell it to follow the VGSZ price code. Now, in some cases, depending on how you're set up in Arctics, you might instead follow a ticket type. And so your ops department could help you with that, but maybe you're following the group ticket type, so you'd put something different in there. But in this example, we'll just stick with that. And we'll go back to our modifier. We'll say plus $5. And we're going to say $5 of that is a donation. So we save it. And then that's here. So it's the same pricing as before, except I didn't have to enter any pricing. So that one's done. Let's take a quick look. So here it is. The pricing is there, includes all fees, and it has the fundraiser. Now, it doesn't have the Make-A-Wish thing because in this new offer, I didn't add it. So I'm not going to waste time doing it, but you saw how we did it before. We just go to headline info and add that information there. So one of the neat things about dynamic pricing is that now it makes it a lot easier to copy for future games. Because you're doing dynamic pricing, our system is going to look at the price for each particular game if you copy that offer over. So for that, I'm going to add more games to this Delta offer. And to do that, if you wanted to add more than one game at a time, instead of clicking create sales event, you can click this little drop down button here. And then a little option appears to create multiple sales events. So we're going to do that. I'm going to choose the venue. Now, in this case, the Carolina Hurricanes with us also, they sell concerts through PNC Arena. That's why you see a lot of concerts in here. For the most part, you would only see your games. So I'm going to just choose, let's say we're doing for the first 7 games of the season, right? So I'm going to add, so we've already made game 1, but we're going to add game 2 through game 7 in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and create these sales events. So if I go back to the group overview page, you'll see that we still only see one sales event here because we published this one, but the ones we just created are in here, unpublished. So each of these, though, they have no offers. And you could add them manually if you'd like, which could be a lot of work. It might take a few minutes to do that. But I'm going to show you how to copy from this first game to those remaining 7 games. So to do that, I'm going to go to the first game. There's a little icon here, looks like a pieces of paper on top of each other, the copy icon. If you hover over it, it says copy offers. I'm going to click on that. And this is going to walk me through the process of copying these offers. So I go next. Which offers do I want to copy? So I want to copy both of them. I could select them one by one. If you have many of them, you could just click select all offers. Next. What group do you want to copy the offers to? Well, we're not changing the group. We're copying these offers to the same group. So it's still Delta Airlines, but it's just different games. So we're going to keep Delta Airlines in that list, and we're going to go next. Now this is going to show me all the sales events that are included within Delta Airlines. So there's game 2 through game 7. I want to copy these to all those games. So I'll select those. Perform copy process. So it says it's going to take about 5 seconds. We go in. I go back to Delta. Now I go to unpublished. Let's just choose a random game here, game 5. You'll see that those are copied in.
One of the biggest mistakes people make in copying is that they don't create the sales events before they copy. So sometimes people want to copy cross groups and they'll say, okay, well, I'm just going to copy FedEx to Delta, no problem. But they didn't go in and create the sales events for Delta. So then they're actually copying the Delta group to the FedEx sales events, which gets a little messy. So just make sure that if you're going to copy, always create your sales events first and then go back and copy your offers to those new sales events.
Yeah, good point. So now we have a bunch of unpublished sales events here, but they're ready to go because they have offers. Each one of these has the 2 offers in them. So I'm going to go to unpublished, and on the right here, you can put check marks on these. If you click the top one, I can highlight all of these games. And I could hit the actions button and hit publish. So this will publish all of those sales events at once. So now we have all 7 games here published. So if we wanted to take a look at what this looks like now, if we hit this outward arrow promotion links here, let's take a look at the published offers. This is what it looks like. We have Hurricanes, Delta logo, and then we have 7 games, the first 7 games of the season. I can click on any one of these. You'll see it's a fundraiser, and then we have the price for each one. So it's looking pretty good, except if you're familiar with Spinzo offers, you could make this page look nicer with what we call listing images. So listing images are usually matchup images that you could put, instead of having just white boxes here, you can place matchup images. So to do that, we actually have a new way to do this. It's fairly new. You can click this little icon here called listing image. So right now it's blue and it says not applied. So if I tap on that, it's going to open all of the matchup graphics, and then I could simply choose that one. So this one was lightning. I choose it, and then it becomes green. The icon changes a bit, and now it says applied when I'm there. So I can go into each one. So I can choose on the New Jersey Devils one, that one, Bruins one. It's going to test my speed here.
This will drastically improve the time it takes to add listing images. I promise you. I did it myself today compared to the old method about a day ago. This definitely improves the time to do this.
Yeah. So here we are. So we did 7 of them in, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. So we've applied all of those. And now if I go back to the promotion, that's done. So we've got 7 games created there with matchup images, pricing, everything's ready to go.
Awesome.
So next up, Kyra is going to walk us through how we might add questions to this and leaderboards. And let's do it on this Delta offer.
Yeah. Over here is talk about live leaderboards a lot because it's kind of a standard best practice. We really see it move the needle for a lot of promotions. So going back to the group level. So remember, you can add questions on the group level where it's going to be on the entire main page, Or yeah, going back to that, or you can add questions on the sales event level where it's only a question that's required for a specific game. So let's kind of walk through adding both types of questions. So to do a group level question, at the group level, you're going to click on the questions icon. And let's say for this Delta promotion, we want to drive sales by having all the departments. The top selling department will get a post-game photo. So Emmanuel will type in the question, which department are you with? And then by default, it's multiple choice. And for live leaderboards, it would have to be multiple choice, but you can always ask, you can always change that if you wanted a different type of field for your question. So he's going to put in all the departments: sales, marketing, operations. And then if he scrolls down, there is a show question on leaderboard checkbox. You're going to want to make sure that that's checked in order to create the live leaderboard. So you're going to want to create a title, department leaderboard. And then the subtitle, we usually recommend writing in whatever they're going to get. So top selling department gets post-game photo, or photo on Jumbotron, or on the ice. Perfect.
Post-game.
Then he'll save that question. And then if you go back to the promotion, you'll see that it now shows on that main page. So this is going to be required question for all games, regardless of which game they're coming to. And it'll track in real time. And you can put, there's an infinite amount of options that you can do. So you can do multiple different drop downs there. So that's the main page group level question. Now, let's say.
I was just going to go through here and show where buyers would see that. So as the buyer is going through, this is where the question appears. Which department are you with at Delta? And as Kyra mentioned, that's at the group level. So it's showing up on all the sales events for Delta.
Awesome. So now let's add one for just one specific game. So let's say for one game, we're going to offer the pregame chalk talk experience. So he'll go into a specific game. And then there, he's going to add in right underneath milestone benefits there, where we were before, create question leaderboard. So this means that it's only going to show up for this specific game. So he'll add in the question there. Are you interested in the pregame chalk talk? And then put in all of his options. And you can also write in how many spots you have available. So you can actually cap it and you can write in exactly how many spots, cut it off, and it'll say that it's no longer available once you reach that total unit.
Yeah. And in this case, Kyra, we don't need a leaderboard because we don't want to show, how many yeses and nos. So you can create questions without having a leaderboard, but this is a good feature in this particular case.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have that. Great. What might be nice in this case is, since game one includes the chalk talk potential, you could actually edit that sales event. I like to do this and maybe add something to the name. Includes pregame chalk talk while supplies last, something like that, since it's limited. Yeah. So now we've edited the sales event name, and the beauty of that is when we go back in now to all of them, you'll see this particular game has that includes pregame chalk talk, and because Kyra had us build the question on game one only, if we go in, we'll see that question is on game one. But if we go back out to all the games, we go to the Flyers game, that question is not on the Flyers game. So that's the beauty of this hierarchy, because you could choose to place a question at any part. You can even have questions at the seller level. So that would be, a lot of our clients have this. Are you interested in season tickets or flex plans? You can have them at the group, which is all the sales events for that group, one particular sales event. You could even have it at the offer level. So maybe with club seats, you were giving a dinner option, I don't know, chicken, beef, or vegetarian. You could ask that, and it would only ask that for that specific offer to the club seats.
Awesome. Now, just to walk through another way to gate your employees have access or are able to purchase this promotion. So I'm going to show you how we can add permitted email lists to your promotion. So at the group level, if Emmanuel goes over to the permitted email list icon, you'll see that you'll have a bunch of different toggle options of permitted email lists that you can create. So on the left-hand panel, down on permitted email list, if he clicks on that, you're going to want to create a new permitted email list. And so here it'll be Delta employees. Now you can gate by email suffix, so .edu, .gov. You can do email domain, so at delta.com, at spinzo.com, for example. Or you can just drop in a bunch of different email addresses as well. So let's say you have a bunch of season ticket holders and you want to, or a bunch of employees and you want to drop in all their emails, you can do that as well. Okay, we can go ahead and save that. And then that will gate, and now only employees that have a delta.com email address will be able to actually go in and purchase the offer. Now they'll be able to see it, but they wouldn't be able to buy it in. So I'm sorry, yeah, you would have to go back and you have to toggle in the Delta employees email list first on the group level. And then now Delta employees will now only be able to purchase. But you can also do a combination of a couple of different emails. So let's say Delta has some contractors that don't have a delta.com email address, and you want to add in just a few, like a handful of different employee email addresses. You can actually go back in and then do a mixture. And so you can type in a specific email address here. So even though they don't have a delta.com domain, they can still go in and have access to this promotion.
So right now it's gated. So if I try to purchase, I'm unable
No
to
go.
process. The offer is restricted to specific emails. And so mine is not on the permitted list. But if I added myself, in here, then it should work. So you can combine domains and individual emails if you want. Some of our clients do this for like group leaders, special offers for group leaders, special offers for season ticket members. That would be a good place to use the list. This one we just did would be good for corporate stuff because you can do delta.com.
Yes, you can import a list of emails. Absolutely. So you can copy and paste and put as many emails as you want in there in that space. I think, Emmanuel, once it gets over 3,000, then we have to help manage it, or what's the?
Yeah, there's some number. If it's thousands, it's rare. But if you had it in, you wanted to restrict to say 10,000 emails, you could contact us and we can add that in there because it's a little bit harder to manage when there's that many.
Absolutely. One other way to gate promotions is by promo codes. So Spinzo has a couple different ways that you can invoke promo codes. Promo codes in our system are indicated by the key icon, and they can be done at the group, sales event, and offer level. So remember, keep this in mind, as also at the affiliate level. This is why we always go back to the structure and the hierarchy of Spinzo, because all of these features can be done at different places. So if we wanted to, instead of maybe handling this by emails, maybe we wanted to handle the Delta offer by promo code, we could go in and add a promo code. So we're going to speak about two different types of promo codes here. One is a purchase promo code. So if Emmanuel put a purchase promo code here, maybe Delta is fun, or, you know, I don't know, Delta 2024. He can put whatever he wants there. And he can even too assign a rep to a promo code. So if Delta 2024 is entered, it gets assigned to a specific rep. So he can do that. This, remember, is a purchase promo code. So this allows the buyers to see the entire promotion. It allows them to go through the entire process, pick seats, select everything, but they cannot check out unless they enter the promo code. So this is essentially just gating at the end of the process. Now, if you have an offer that is so good that you don't want anyone to see it unless they enter the promo code, which may be more applicable in many instances because you are offering a special deal, you can use what we call access promo codes. So if Emmanuel comes in here and swaps this to an access promo code, this means that people cannot see the page until they enter that promo code. Again, access promo codes can be tied to a sales rep. So if you do have like a theme night and you want various sales reps to sell into it, and you want to make sure that if I enter a specific promo code, that's going to get that rep credit, you can do that. But now Emmanuel cannot even see the page until he enters Delta 2024. Once he does that, he now unveils the page and is able to go through. So it gives you an option to be able to do some different things with gating promotions. All right. Feel free to keep throwing questions in the chat as we go through this, but now we're going to dive into a little bit more of the back end of a reporting. So you guys can understand now as you launch your successful Spinzo promotions, how do you see what's going on with them? So first thing first, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Flex report. So the Flex report, I always like to say it's like pivot tables in Excel on steroids, but so much easier because I am not a pivot table person and I can master our Flex report. So you can too. So the key with the Flex report is number one, starting off with a date range. So we're going to use last year's data since most teams are just getting started for the season. And I know that's the Hurricanes case. So Emmanuel's going to go ahead and pull up a date range, but you can, and what will be great is you start your season, just put the start date of whenever you start selling, and you can work off of that for the rest of the year. If you want to, as a rep, just see your own sales, you can go ahead and toggle that rep box and then filter by a rep and choose your name. So we're going to go ahead and choose their group sales manager, Paul. And we can go ahead and run the report if we want to now. This is going to give us holistically for that time frame how much Paul has sold, how many tickets, what type of tickets they were, how much gross revenue, what the fees were. Keep in mind the fees get split between our friends at Ticketmaster, our payment processor, and us, and then the total net revenue. So just overall numbers for Paul right here. We can break it down then by group if we want to. If Paul wants to see what his groups are, he can absolutely do that and see what the groups are. He now is going to see exactly what his groups are, how much each one of his groups has sold, and he can quickly see all of that information. If he wants to go down further and he wants to look at one specific group, he can. So Emmanuel's going to choose a group. He's going to choose UNC Health, it looks like. And he's going to go ahead and run the report for that. He could also then select event date if he wanted to. And then he could go ahead and see, what game dates UNC Health came to. Did they come to just one? Did they have multiple? What does that look like? We're going to see here that they had multiple game dates. If Emmanuel wants to go deeper with UNC Health, he can. Maybe he wants to filter by one specific date. So ironically, 2/24 is Spinzo's birthday, so we're going to go ahead and choose that game. Why wouldn't we, right? We go ahead and choose the 2/24 game, and Emmanuel can run the report right now, or he can add additional toggles like ticket class and orders. So now he's going to go down to every single person that bought UNC Health for the 2/24 game and get all of their info and data. As we've gone through this, every single version of this report is downloadable to Excel. So you can hit that download as a CSV at the bottom. The other thing that he can do is if he wants to have a conversation with his manager about this data, he can go ahead and copy that link and he can send that link to any other Spinzo user. They will instantly jump in and see that exact cut of the data that Paul has gone ahead and gone after. So very easy. Every single one of those columns is sortable. So if he wants to sort by any of that, he can as well. Up there, one of the other key toggles that he has is he has the ability to choose and look at high spenders if he wants or low spenders. So that little order amount toggle, maybe you have a threshold for partial plans and you want to contact all the people that spend over a certain dollar amount. Go ahead and move your toggle to that certain threshold, run the report. Now here are your big spenders. Here are the people that you need to go after and have a conversation with. So very easy, very simple to pull that information.
And if Paul wanted to, now he's on UNC Health for February 24th. But if you wanted to remove UNC Health, you could just remove UNC Health from the filter here and rerun the report. Now this is going to show Paul all of his orders for February 24th. And you'll see he has some for PNC Arena Employee Appreciation. So he runs that group and the UNC Health group. So you don't have to only hone in on one group. You could say, show me all of my tickets sold for this event date.
Absolutely. Perfect. Let's go to the next report that's going to be really pertinent for you, and it's called the Group Audience Report. I also like to call this the CYA report. So when your manager is saying, hey, why isn't that group sold any tickets? And your group leader's like, oh yeah, I sent out the link. And you're like, no, you didn't, because I know how many people viewed it. This is going to be your best friend for reviews and for understanding how your link is trending. This is also a great tool for you to go back to your group leader and help train them to send your link out more often than not. So even if we look at UNC Health, for example, we can go ahead and see a couple different things. we can see the total unique viewers, we can see the unique buyers, the total orders, and the total units for this promotion. If a manual drills down into this, we're now going to see on a day-by-day basis how that added up. What's key here is you tell your group leader, hey, if you want to share the promotion link a couple different ways, I can help give you insight as to how well your communication channels are working. So if you want to send a text message, I can tell you exactly how that's going to convert. I can tell you exactly how your Facebook post converted. I can tell you exactly how your email converted based on the number of views and the number of tickets that you got purchased. So keep this in mind that you want to use this chart to your advantage. It usually takes a day for this information to populate because this is coming from Google Analytics. So we are pulling that information. The unique users is the unique users on that day. So if someone does go from their desktop and then goes to their phone, they're considered two different unique users. But if they searched on their desktop and came back later that day and bought on their desktop, that's the same user. So keep that in mind as you're looking at that information. But if you see 3 users and you, your manager, and maybe Spinzo was in there on the page, your group leader didn't send the promotion out.
This one's interesting because it's clear in looking at this data that UNC sent this out 4 times with some pretty big spikes. So you'd be able to see, maybe they only did it once, but then your games are starting, and the games are these little black triangles. So maybe once the games start, you could go back to your group leader and say, hey, I saw you sent it out. We saw some traffic on October 11. You should consider sending it out again. So it's very useful to know that UNC sent this out 4 times. And in fact, maybe if they sent it out a 5th time around February, March, maybe they'd have had more buyers around that time. So it's interesting, and you could use this and filter back to the group leader.
Additionally, if you use our affiliate technology, you do have access to that. So looking quickly at the College Rush promotion for the Hurricanes, just to showcase this for you. If you drill down and scroll down, you're going to be able to see that by affiliate. So if you are using that feature, you do not lose any of that data. You can actually click into the affiliate and see an actual chart specific for that channel or that affiliate. So if you're using it for corporate partner offers or those, you still have access to all of that. So keep that in mind that definitely is out there and exists for you to be able to see. You can see here there clear spikes with the viewers and buyers in this instance for this affiliate.
Yeah, because in their case, College Rush is only day of game, and
Yes.
they've chosen to maybe do the email 4 different times. Other times it was just a link, maybe that the college is new, but for the email campaigns, now they know how successful their email campaigns were versus say text and Twitter or X.
Absolutely. All right, Emmanuel's going to bring it home with some quick lookup tools, and then if there's any questions and answers, we will get to those.
Yeah, so there's a couple lookup tools in Spinzo that you should be mindful of. Right up here, if you click on the lookups, you can look up any user. So user lookup is by their email address, so you can type their email address in there. And that will show you everything they bought. So I have a lot of things because I've done a lot of test purchases for our clients. But for the most part, there'll only be a few orders there. So you could look up by email address, or you could look up by order ID. So let's just take one of these order IDs in here. So here, I take that. So I could look up by purchase order. Then you put the Spinzo order ID in there, which is letters, and you search that, and then it will give you information about that order in there. And then we have a fairly new one this year, which is the account ID lookup. So take my account ID. So if someone phones in, or if you knew someone's Ticketmaster account ID, or this is their Arctics ID, you could paste that in here, search it, and it will show you everything they bought. So you could look up by email, by Spinzo purchase order, or the Ticketmaster Arctics account ID. This is very important, and some people didn't know that exists, but it does save a lot of time rather than having to go through lists of buyers.
And Simone loves it, so it's a win. With that, are there any questions that you have for us live here? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question if you did not throw it in the chat.
There were a couple chat questions, right, Denise?
Yep, I got
but
that.
you
Yeah, I
answered them.
responded to all of
Yep.
them. I think we're in a good spot with them. We have a feature request to not show $0 or 0 numbers on the leaderboard. So maybe they can be hidden until they, and just appear once they have something on the
Mhm.
leaderboard. So that could be an
Mhm.
option.
Denise and Manuel, it's Christina with Sacramento Kings. Can
Okay.
you remind me when we go to look at the individual purchase order, because we have to either cancel or refund an order, do we do that in Spinzo first and then go to Arctics? Or what
Yeah.
happens if we go to Arctics first on accident?
Yeah,
Yeah.
great question, Christina.
Yeah, we can explain that.
Because I've
So
done both.
we recommend doing it in Spinzo first. When you do it in Spinzo first, it'll refund, and then it will give you this information here to
Oh,
say
got it.
that in Arctics we were able to return the seats, and you
Okay.
ask your ticket ops group to refund the resulting
Refund.
credit on the seat.
Got it.
So this is just
Okay.
that message. But if you did it in Arctics first, this message will say, upon refund, Spinzo was not able to return the seats, and it will tell you possibly they were already returned in Arctics first, in which case it's still fine. But from our perspective, we were not able to return the seats. And the tricky thing is sometimes we're not able to return them if the seat is transferred to someone else or resold. So we
Yeah.
get a little worried when we see those things. But so it's
Okay.
no huge harm to do it in Arctics first, but the recommended path is to do Spinzo first, then Arctics.
Got it. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Keep in mind, refund access is only available for those admin users in Spinzo. So if you have a manager or rep access, you won't have access to refund. We don't mind refunding either, so Justin, don't be upset. We can help you refund if you need to. Again, you have to have admin access to refund, and the key is making sure that information gets to your box office team so they can clear the credit. So
for the most part, most of our clients should have at least one or more people with admin access. That could be your group sales manager, but it's up to you guys how to sort that out. But
what other questions are out there for us? All right. Well, if there's no other questions.
Maybe we could talk about the next session.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna preview
Yeah.
the next session. So next session, we're gonna spend time on free tier programs, which a lot of you use. I know it's a bread and butter Spinzo feature. So we're gonna talk through the different types of free tier programs, how you create them, and how you add them essentially to your promotions. Additionally, we're gonna spend time on immersive design. We're going to talk a lot about how to make your pages look beautiful. So even if you do have branding templates, which we'll talk about those, how to override them and update anything that you would like. You can move things on the page. We've made a lot of enhancements to immersive design. And then the last thing we'll spend time on is what's called our flex plan functionality. So this allows you to essentially either sell a flex plan or sell something for people to get access to something else. So we've had some teams or some organizations that will do, hey, buy a game in December, get a January game for free. But in order to get that January game, what they do is they actually get a code, a free tier code, or a flex code, if you will, and they're able to use that code to redeem later. It also opens the door if you want to sell things before your season starts without a schedule. You can sell things like dance clinics, basketball clinics, and have a code generated so that when the schedule does come out, they can go ahead and redeem. It also opens the door if you want to offer multiple games for something like a dance clinic or a basketball clinic. And you can say, hey, come to our holiday clinic, but you get access to any game in January. That gives them the option to go ahead and redeem on their own time and their own pace. So a little bit more Spinzo 2.0 in that session, but that is going to be September 10th, and you can still register. If you were here and earned your $25 DoorDash gift card, you can still earn another $25 for coming September 10th as well. So feel free to join that session. We'll leave the registration up there in the dashboard. If you have any follow-up questions from this session, please feel free to reach out to any of the three of us. Service@spinzo.com is also a great resource for you. Go ahead and shoot your message there, and you will get us to respond as well.
So at the next session, we're going to learn how to make fancy designs like this with background video, cool colors, and even simpler ones like this. So lots to look forward to September 10th, and that's at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining. We really appreciate it. Have a great long weekend if we don't talk to you before, and we can't wait to get everyone up and running or keep you running if you're already in season. Take care.
Right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Welcome.